Boom. Wow, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is that you're having. It's Transformation Tuesday again. Whoa, yep, every Tuesday we've been coming to you with a guest speaker, sometimes it's me, since March of 2020. How's that for you? And what started out as an idea to connect because we were getting ready to shut down has transformed all of us in the entire world. Yeah. So, Transformation Tuesday. And we are part of Paradigm Shifters now. Paradigm Shifters, we are a dedicated, global, growing group and community of shifters. We're dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. How's that, Susan? You
Sounds
got
beautiful to me.
Yeah, we're down, right? I know. Yeah.
Well, we
And
welcome that.
back when I was in my classroom teaching, and I think that's we have that, when I actually would squelch some of the kids' dreams. Believe it or not, believe it. When they would say things like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this planetarily," like, or and I just real quick, one thing. Back when I was starting this visioning things, I was teaching in my classroom, right? And I had this vision of me standing on the moon with my arms like this and putting a wave of love around the entire earth. And I really could see it. So I had this idea to go in the classroom, and I took one whole wall, I made it into a moon, and I did it all, and the kids are coming in, and I told them my vision, and you know what one of those kids said? It's middle
Tell me,
school.
tell me, do tell.
I hope they have wheelchair access for you.
Oh, I would say out of the mouth of babes, but I guess at some point, junior high, you're still
Back in middle school.
developing.
And then it was a determination, you know? So I went into the workroom and I opened up this thing about SpaceX and travel to the moon. And I'm like, see? So at any rate, what you dream about, you bring about. So right now we are on July, the month of July 2024. And our topic for this month is allowing. Allowing the unfoldment, allowing in the unfoldment of whatever, and knowing that there's a divine presence on each step. So before I introduce you, Susan, I'm going to read from this book I've been reading because I'm getting ready for a journey up to the mountains. It's called The Art of Pilgrimage: The Seeker's Guide to Making Travel Sacred. Isn't that great? And whether we're traveling outside to the grocery store or to the mountains, it's a pilgrimage. It's a sacred pilgrimage if we want it. So this little bit is called, this little reading, really short, is called For Want of Surprises. Okay? And here's the little quote. An inch of surprise leads to a mile of gratefulness. Yeah, an inch of surprise leads to a mile of gratefulness. And that's a quote from Brother David Steinelt-Rast. And here's this little sentence. With a slight but significant shift of perspective required of a pilgrim on a sacred journey, what was once a snarl becomes a test. Disappointment turns into challenge. Pretty cool, eh? All right, so our guest speaker today is my sister colleague, Susan Stanton. So Susan is an award-winning life mastery consultant. Isn't that cool to say that? Yeah. So for over 30 years, Susan has been studying transformational success principles, and yet it wasn't until the last few years Susan deepened her awareness through working with this proven system of transformation, which has impacted her life more than the previous years of study combined. Along the journey, Susan discovered transformational leadership training, which offered her the opportunity to become a leader and coach. Bam, right? Susan immediately began the process to become a life mastery consultant, having, I love this, having struggled with limiting beliefs affecting her quality of life for years due to lack of awareness in proven transformational principles. As a result, Susan has a strong desire to impact others' lives by building their awareness through not only teaching these life changing principles, but how to apply them in creating, building, and living an even more expansive, abundant life in all areas. So, Susan, who enjoyed being in the teaching profession for 28 years, you got me beat, Susan. Teaching profession for 28 years before becoming a transformational life coach, loves supporting others. So, Susan lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, enjoys the sunshine and blue skies almost year round, and having been raised in Southern California, Susan loves heading to the beach multiple times a year, so excited to place her feet in the sand, listen to the beautiful sounds of waves, and taking those lovely walks on the beach. She loves being out in nature, whether it be enjoying beautiful desert landscape or the majestic mountains, or. So welcome, welcome, Susan. Come on in here and tell us a little bit about your story, possibly your transformation, where you were allowing the awe, maybe where you were stopping the awe, and it's all yours. I'm grateful that
Oh,
you're here.
thank you, Judy. What a beautiful opportunity to be with you here today. And so it's interesting because as you're talking about that, one of the things I didn't know till more recently was intuition, like that inner knowing. Okay. So I'll circle back to why I bring that up now. But I was at a place where I longed for more. I was actually asking myself, like, is this all there is? This is not what I imagined, when I was a child, where my life would be at this point. And I had met a man shortly after my father died, coincidentally, maybe not. And basically, I realized pretty quickly I was having red flags. I chose to ignore those red flags. To be fully transparent, I chose to ignore them, absolutely believing, Judy, things would get better. We loved each other, but I was starting to lose hope things would get better. And I started questioning because I had this inner feeling of wanting to expand and grow. And I knew in that environment, it was stifling that. And yet I stayed. And then when I felt like all hope had lost, I actually got really scared. Um, I found myself asking, do I want the next 5 years to be like the last 5 years? And I don't know how to explain it, but this fear rose up in me because let's just say I've never really shaken the apple cart up until this point. And I loved him, he loved me. It just was not a healthy environment. And so I found myself asking, questions like, do you really want to upset his parents? Do you really want to upset him? Although I had been communicating with him that I was losing hope. Nothing ever changed. There were promises made, but nothing would ever change. And I just found like I was trading in my happiness and growth and expansion for not rocking the boat. Um, and I'll tell you, it became too high of a price to pay. I knew something was going to have to change. And let's just say a series of events occurred shortly thereafter, culminated in an incident um, where I knew I could actually not spend another night under the same roof with him. And I felt like I was jolted awake, Judy, that I had finally received the sign I was longing for. I don't know what sign I was waiting for, but it was just like this was a neon sign. I guess Susan at that point needed a neon sign. And so I told him to leave. And basically I rocked the boat. And I'll tell you what, I felt tremendous relief. I don't even know how to explain it. It almost like washed over me. My home sold really quickly, and I moved into an environment that was life-giving. Oh my gosh, just so positive and loving. And I'll tell you, now having the desire to listen to that inner voice that was speaking to me, I looked for support. I looked for support. And and I'm now investing in a relationship with my intuition, investing in what I would love for being, and to be honest with you, I was a people pleaser for many years. And a lot of these disempowering beliefs, paradigms were holding me captive. They held me captive for years. And the courage that I mustered up to do this, I don't know how to explain it because for some people it may seem, oh, just quick, just tell them to leave. Well, it wasn't quite that easy for me. And yet it took everything basically to do this. And yet the gift was, one of the many gifts is that I found I had a strength within I never knew I had. I felt like I had the courage, empowerment. I never, like, where did that come from? Almost, it was kind of, it's really vulnerable to say that now, you know, it's just, but that's where I was. And I just really, I'll tell you, I would never, ever not want that opportunity. I learned so much. I did. I learned so much from that. I don't regret being with him. I don't regret that. However, I am especially paying more attention to trusting the inner voice, trusting what serves my expansion and growth, connecting with spirit, and just asking myself many times throughout the day, what would you love to create? And just like you had mentioned earlier, having looked for self-help wellness tools for most of my life, I was always seeking ways to improve, right? And I always loved sharing it with others. Um, I had more growth and awareness in those couple of years, like you were mentioning, than I did in all those years combined. And there was something to that, and it just lit a fire within me. I didn't know the how. I was a teacher. I knew the how there. I knew how to get to kids from point A to point B. I just did. I had no idea, but yet there was something in me, right? The intuition saying, this is your calling. You love to coach. You love to teach. So I don't know what else would you like to ask or something.
No, I love that. I love that.
I can tell you some
Way
tools.
back, it's like teachers teach, right? It's like that yellow with that aura. And oh, let's go back into your class.
Yellow.
Let's go back. Yeah, yellow. Let's go back into your classroom a minute, okay?
Mhm.
Because just we share that
Do.
similarity.
I
It's
do.
like, okay, it's the how, boom, then you're here, boom, then you're gone. Whether they liked it or not. That was it, right? And so where can you think of I don't know what grade, I don't know who you taught, but can you think of where you had a destination for a person that they could care less? And what did you do what would you what would you do differently now? How's this for a teaching moment? And where were you using your intuition back then, and where, if the same thing happened, you would do something differently? How about those questions?
Well, I will tell you, yeah, especially early on in my teaching career, I would have changed it up. So I noticed that once I got into the work I am now, because I was for a little bit, that coincided a little bit. Um, I was doing, I was activating the brain, both sides of the brain in the morning. We would dance together. We'd do high vibration. We'd set the stage. I was always one to nurture them and tell them how gifted they were and all of that. But there were some, you're right. And you just, I might have phrased something differently had I, known what I know now. I might have asked more open-ended questions, get them thinking, right? Get them problem solving on their own. I taught kindergarten. I taught second language learners. I taught the little people, Judy, and I loved it. I loved it. And I taught the second language learners for the last since 2009 till when I retired a couple years ago. And so I love that. And like I said, I knew how to get them from point A to point B. And yet there was something in there that I just knew I'd love to take the impact farther because I really knew I knew what I was doing and the challenge, right? I had all these tools and I was using them, but I found like there was something in me that just says, okay, what could you do next? Because this is your comfort zone, right? I was in my comfort zone. I was just going with the flow. It was working. It was great. I love teaching. I was going with the flow. And yet there was something in me that says, you're not really growing. You're not really expanding. And so that held me to kind of start thinking about. So when I was had this new calling to become a coach, there was something in me that said, well, you don't know the how. And it will be, be challenge, just learn the just the language of entrepreneurship and just the heart-centered part of it. I have that heart-centered, but just in a new way, with marketing and technology and all of that. That's a lot of learning has gone on. And so, I'm grateful for that. And that's what I did. I went for pushing, going across the edge of what I've known, so to speak, right? And then just I can impact. I impacted children, and I know I did, and yet I can now impact people in different ways, right? I really don't know if I answered your question, Judy.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I guess I got to. I guess my heart just was about. I was just. I don't know. That just keeps a conduit of spirit, so to speak, came out for me.
Yeah, knowing that you're on the green growing edge.
Mhm.
And at the green growing edge, there's like a cliff.
Oh my gosh.
So tell me, if you could, if you would.
Sure.
So we're talking about this, the awe, unfolding in the
Mhm.
awe and the awesomeness around along the journey. And you spoke about that feeling of freedom there. So was what I'm gonna, and then we know we talked also about those limiting beliefs, that limiting beliefs about yourself. Okay, what are I'm gonna ask, put you on the spot. What are, because I've worked with many teachers too, and it seems like there's this common limiting beliefs that we could get everyone else to a certain point and forget about ourselves. That's that was mine.
Mhm.
You said people pleasing. So tell me about any limiting beliefs where it is when it shows up and you're on your green growing edge. What is a limiting belief that comes up for you?
Well, when you first asked me to come on here, okay, I'm like, it's live. And to be honest with you, I was like, live. Oh my. But there was something in me that says, do it anyways. Do it frightened. Because a part of me, oh my gosh, a part of me just wanted to give and just pour out, whatever I could to create impact. And yet I think there's a point where I'm like, what if I make a mistake? Right? Right? What if I make a mistake? What if I say something that doesn't come out right? Or what if it's not perfect? Oh my gosh, how about that perfectionist paradigm? That's great, the P word, you know, perfectionism, which I'm learning the gift of feedback. And I said, just have feedback, you know? It's not, you know, and I come, it just, when I like you did before we began today, Judy, behind the scenes, you opened up a prayer for us. And it was just like connecting with spirit before I joined your Zoom this morning. That helps. Like, just, it's not about me. Get out of your own way, Susan, and just help. And that supported me. But paradigms, yes. Getting up in front of other people. I could get up in front of kids all the time, all day, all long, Judy. And I'm like, and I'm thinking, you know what you have to say is valuable. Just get up and speak from the heart. And if you can impact one soul at this vision workshop or at this meeting, it was all worth it, right? So it's just letting the part of me that the fear-based part, right, the old paradigm part that wants to protect me, letting it know it's okay that I'm in the driver's seat for a while. You can get in the back seat, you can come along, but I'm driving now. I've got tools now. I got things that work, and you can ride along with me, but I'm the one in the driver's seat. I do have to remind the paradigm that sometimes still. And so, and just returning to the breath and returning to what I love to create and what, you know, just, but more so connecting with spirit. And you're talking about the awe factor, Judy. Let's just say it wasn't that long ago that I wasn't co-creating with God. And so the awe factor, the oddness of, I woke up this morning. I've been given the most precious gift of a never before lived day. This one's never been lived before. I get to choose, and I go out. And like I was saying, I so much am in tune with nature more than I ever have been before, Judy. I'm like the oddness. I had a baby bobcat in my backyard nursing her baby cubs. The oddness, right? And just like the growth. And I'm seeing that. I mean, I I walk out and I see birds singing and just the growth I'm seeing. Cactus bloom. I'm seeing the cactus blooming, and you know, just it's the oddness of being alive and really the oddness in getting to choose how I'm going to live this day, and the oddness and just abundance all around me. I didn't tune into that before. I'm tuning in now.
And you're tuning in for yourself.
Thank you, Judy.
And what if the world needs more people that are tuning into themselves?
Mm.
How beautiful we are. You know what just crossed my mind?
But
Every single adult I know would love, love, love to be back in kindergarten with their kindergarten teacher who loved them unconditionally,
Mm, thank
who
you.
saw in them potential. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, there you go. Kindergarten teacher extraordinaire. You know, I love the fact that we share this classroom, even though you were in front of the kindergartners, which means creativity. Da, 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 da. And then we used to go to teacher conferences, and like I was like the middle school teacher, where we're like a whole different breed than you guys. And you know, you had the funky sweaters, right?
Oh, yes.
And you
She's,
had the
she's so right on. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did.
we middle school teacher did not. So you go like, oh, there's the kindergarten teachers over there, no woo woo stuff, and then and then we were like in our battle gear sometimes, but then I'm thinking, oh, it's the same souls. We still worked with the souls.
You sure did.
And so now that we're not working, we are serving
Yes.
adults, the moms, the other teachers, the principals. The way they are choosing that is the service, their passion. Isn't it fun to be authentically you?
Oh, Judy, this seeing what's my true self emerge is a beautiful thing to
Okay, one more question. Actually, two more questions. Teacher, teacher, teacher. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick
How would you like to say?
me. Oh, okay. So, what would you say to paradigm shifters? We are like a global group. There's so many of us. We're 57 countries worldwide. It doesn't matter what country or what culture, like we still have that inner wanting to pick me, pick me. So what would you say to a group of people who are just longing, longing, longing to know, to have affirm that there's more to them? What is a tool that they can use to possibly get themselves in that energy? What could you suggest to them? Remember, we're all kindergartners at heart.
I would support them in creating a different story because kindergarten, that would be a really big thing to do with them, right? And even for myself, creating a different story and just the sense of worthiness that you're being breathed right now. You're worthy. You don't need to tell me all what happened in your past, your circumstances, situations. You're absolutely deemed worthy because you're breathing right now. And you're not alone. I was there. I was there. I was in that spot. And it's just making a decision for something different. It's making a decision and just baby steps, but really creating a new story where they see themselves fully immersed in love and just whatever lights them up. I would support them in doing that because that's what you can really tap into. If you haven't seen who you really are for a while, and that's been hidden a long time, that's the first place is just go deep and just create a new story about who you actually are and the beauty. Even if it's taking them to a beach and just like, they're walking around, whatever it means to them. If they like the lake, floating on a lake, and they just see the beauty, and that's in them as well, right? So just creating a new story. I think that's a powerful place to start. And knowing they're not alone and that there is a way. There is a way to let you for your beautiful self fully emerge. And what a journey that is. Like you said, Judy, what a beautiful journey we're on. All of us beautiful souls. Mhm.
Wow. There you go. Well, I just want to appreciate you and thank you so, so very much for, spreading your light. And we have one more questions to ask. First of
Okay.
all,
Okay.
um, as a community of shifters,
Mhm.
we ask this question: what is it that you would love for us to hold, for you, Susan? Nobody else. It's your smorgasbord to go and get whatever you love. What would you love to have us as a community hold for you?
That I even see, I let myself shine even more. I let myself shine even more, that I become even more connected to the awness all around me, and that I stay in that beautiful vibration of knowing, of believing all things are possible, which starts with shining my light even more. Because I love to lovingly serve. And when I'm connecting with someone I'm working with, and I see the light bulb go on and the transformation, oh my gosh, talk about awe. And I'm like, because you chose this work, this happened. I co-created it, obviously with their spirit breathing them in mine, but our spirit, but yeah.
Okay, now we're going to activate the law of receiving here.
Oh, I like this.
So we are spiritual principles. Okay, so we are getting the energy here wherever we are around the world, around the globe, creating energy, and we're sending it to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're a kindergarten teacher coach. You ready?
I'm
1,
ready.
2,
I'm
3.
ready.
Boom.
Oh, wow. The whole house lit up. I love it. The energy is here. Oh, thank you for that. Thank
Oh
you.
my God, thank you so much. And, to be continued.
I love that. To be continued. Pleasure being with you two beautiful souls here and all your community as well. Hello, everybody.
Oh, and you did your first live. We
Yeah,
are.
I
can't. Will ever. There's thousands of people that like to watch me. This. So, anyway, congratulations. Thank you so much. You're doing it, and you are the light. So dream big, dream bold, accomplish brilliantly. Boom. Transformation.
Boom, I like that.
It is a wrap.
Thank you, dear one. Thank you. That's what I would